All right. 1, 2, 3. We're going to give ourselves some time. A little bit here. All right. It's about 10:38 on the East Coast now. I always keep that in mind. In Mountain Time, it is about 9:38. So we're going to get this thing going and make sure everything's up. Great. Okay, everybody, we're going to talk about inflammation before we go in. We had a really successful week. Let's see how we'll end this week off. I'm just going to be on the air for about maybe 30 minutes if we get people to join in. So we'll see um, how long it'll take people to come in. So let's look over here. Great. So for those that are going to play this back, I'll go ahead and start now because this is the important thing that we just have something that people can get themselves better with. You know, a lot of people are walking around with a lot of pain in their arms, their back, their neck, and they repeat the same thing. It's become their new normal. So we just want to change that. We want to just give people a better way. And so far, thanks to all of you, you've been paying attention and you've been following instructions, and this is what really makes it better for all of us. Because when you're doing great, that means that you're going to treat the people around you with a lot of love and respect, and then they are also going to return that love and respect. Today, I'm going to talk to you before you go to bed. First of all, great job, everybody here. We had a great week. I was on here every day as I've committed to. This is my second time today being on, and I want to talk to you about inflammation. So thank you for joining us. We have people coming in slowly, but as they get the notice, they'll come in. So I'll go ahead and start, and you can always play it back and find out more about what I said. Let me see here. Let's go ahead and start with inflammation, an explanation of it. The inflammation is in our body's natural. This is just the way that our body naturally reacts to infection. It's just a natural reaction to injury. So when we have inflammation, this is when we have swelling, or sometimes we'll have fever for other, maybe an infection. And these are warning signs. It's just not something this bad. Yeah, well, inflammation will definitely, if you don't correct it, it will cause more problems. When the inflammation lingers, it can turn into a chronic condition, leaving the body in a constant state of alert. The chronic inflammation can ultimately damage healthy cells and tissue. Now, when left untreated, chronic inflammation can increase the risk of more serious conditions like heart disease, diabetes, asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, and colitis. So the thing that we have to get down to, because we usually just deal with the symptoms, is find out, what caused it. Now, what actually well, there's many factors that can cause chronic inflammation, including lingering acute inflammation, autoimmune disorders, long-term exposure to irritants like certain chemicals and smoking, obesity, and chronic stress. Now, keep in mind that these factors don't always cause chronic inflammation in everyone, and in some cases, chronic inflammation doesn't have a clear underlying cause. So this is, let me see what I hear. Okay, I thought I heard something. Maybe anyway, when inflammation lingers, as I was saying earlier, it can cause chronic conditions. So you want to get rid of it. You want to work on it right away. You don't want to walk around day after day and you have an inflamed shoulder or knees or anything that you can change. So it's important to do something about it right away. Um, the symptoms of chronic inflammation tend to be more subtle than acute inflammation symptoms, and it can range from mild to severe. Now, common symptoms of chronic inflammation include low energy and fatigue. And we know what that is. You just don't feel like doing anything. It's just like you don't have the energy to do anything. And you become very irritable and cantankerous. Then we have muscle aches and joint pain. Well, we know what that is, speak for itself. And skin rashes like eczema and psoriasis, for instance. Those are some skin rashes. And just through the inflammation, we can get more of that. Now, some people have been living with it a long time. And like I said, they kind of hide behind different creams or topicals or some kind of temporary release. But it's best to find out exactly why you have or experience an inflammation, because in addition to eczema and psoriasis, you can have all kinds of sleep problems like too much or too little sleep, insomnia, parasomnia, all of those interruptions to your rest, and therefore your body can't heal correctly. It cannot synthesize new cells correctly. And you probably remember that in school, apoptosis. This is a natural phenomena of the rebirth of new cells and the dying of old cells. We also can experience chancres, or chancroids, as some people call them, and that is, sores in the mouth, bleeding gums, periodontal disease. All of these things come from, again, inflammation and weight changes, including weight gain and other difficult weight losing challenges. This is really, again, connected with the inflammation. Now, everybody has inflammation because we all use our bodies. We are going up and down the scale for those of us that are managing our weight. Many of the foods that we eat increase inflammation. So when we see things like, or we're eating, especially refined foods, remember, refined foods are not the same as processed foods. Refined foods, the more refined they are, the farther away from nature they are. Processed foods remain the same in nature, except it just changes the shape. It changes the way that it looks. Like, you chop up something, you shred it, you puree it, but you didn't take any vegetables, you didn't take any nutrients out of it, then that is just that is the modification of that particular fruit or vegetable, but you didn't take any of the nutrients out. So you're just processing. So we all eat processed food in some form or the other. But process isn't what's dangerous. What's dangerous is refined, because that's when you take a potato and make a potato chip. That's when you take a kernel of corn and make a corn flake. That is what's happening when you refine food. So the more that you refine foods, the more dangerous they become to a balanced and healthy internal health. And that's what we're looking for. We want optimal health. We want optimal health. Now, if we talk about some of the foods that we can eat during this time, let's look at some of the foods that will help us to reduce the inflammation. Now, inflammation, again, is like chondromalacia patella. Is just like the swelling of the knees, like in a lot of water sometimes on your ankles after you roll your ankle over playing ball, or it can be a twisting of the knee if you're out golfing. It can be, you can have the same thing if your ankle rolls over if you're wearing high heels, or pumps. That is something that happens all the time. But you want to help yourself by eating a nice balance of food, and these types of foods come in very handy when you're having those kinds of experiences. So let's see what's on the food guide. I'm going to bring one up so you can just follow along with me. Um, Here we have, well, I don't want that. Let me see here. Let's take this off. This is kind of cool, right? You can go right along with me. So let's start off with coconut water. Now, coconut water is incredibly good for you, and it has a number of amazing effects in the body. Now, the main benefits of coconut water come from the simple fact that it offers the perfect balance of electrolytes. Now, electrolytes include the likes of sodium, potassium, and calcium, and are among the things that our muscles and our nerves use in order to communicate. So we need these electrolytes, and that's why you see a lot of people drinking electrolytes or electrolyte water, or for electrolytic repair, they call it. After you finish working out, you hiking or you biking or something of that nature. How we replenish those electrolytes that we've just lost in our sweat by drinking coconut. Remember, this is coconut water. There's coconut milk too, but when you drink coconut water, you can help to improve communication. And this also boosts your energy. At the same time, it also helps you to encourage and enhance your body's natural self-repair functions, and thereby prevents the inflammation. So that's one. Let's see what we have coming up next. Next, we have blueberries. Now, blueberries is just cool. Let me just move this over here. I am on the internet, so a lot of stuff we're going to pop up. We'll see if we can keep that to a minimal. So blueberries are next, everybody. Blueberries they're among the most powerful sources of antioxidants in the world, and they contain a huge amount of ascorbic acid, or vitamin C. Now, this vitamin C is among some of the greatest remedies. Why? Because vitamin C is actually an augmenter. It increases the properties of various vitamins and minerals. So that's why you'll see vitamin C being the most popular vitamin out of all the vitamins, because it's in practically everything. It just boosts the qualities, and that can be a big help. Now, it's no surprise that blueberries have been shown in studies to do everything from boosting cognitive function and performance on tests, and enhancing the mood and combating cancer. That C word. So, C word, vitamin C, you can remember, tie it in with conquering cancer. So that's a very, very important thing. This list that I'm talking about is actually what you can eat in order to prevent and combat inflammation. For those of you that just joined us, let's go ahead and move from blueberries to, let's see what's next. Yogurt. Yogurt is next, and yogurt, I would say non-dairy yogurt. And that's on the list because it's it's a source of natural, healthy probiotics. Now, probiotics has a lot to do with what's happening in your microbiome. We'll talk more about that later, because that's not as trending as it used to be, but nevertheless, that's one of the subjects that we've been talking about pretty intensely in the last few years. And we talked about good bacteria and bad bacteria. And we'll, as I say, go into that more and more. But we do know that vitamin C is a way to preserve the good bacteria. Now you see this is in a can. Nevertheless, this is probably a picture of the pineapple in its own juice. You see it's cut the way it is because it's, you know, comes from the factory cut. Pineapple is another excellent place to get a huge helping of the antioxidants that we talked about earlier, including vitamin C again. This is also great for electrolytes like magnesium, potassium, phosphorus. So you have, again, this is a great source. Now, if you're getting the pineapple that's found in, I mean, or the pineapple that's in syrup, you get a whole different effect. Now, some people actually use tuna as a anti-inflammatory, but that's only because they found a source or a trace of omega-3s in tuna. Now, tuna happens to be, well, just take it like this. You know, we live, I live not too far from San Pedro, and San Pedro is the water. There is the body of water that most of the fish in the United States gets their tuna from. And if you see the water, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We have to take care of Mother Earth better than what we've been doing. Let's move on. Salmon is another one, and I have the same statement for that. You know, they find, or the researchers or the technicians or scientists locate or identify omega-3s, which are very important, but the omega-3s, the fish kind of outweighs the omega-3. So salmon has the same thing in it as you can get from walnuts, and you can also get omega-3s from avocados, and you can get omega-3s from flaxseed. So this is flaxseed here. These are, of course, walnuts. Did you know that, you know, when you buy walnuts unshelled, that you preserve more nutrients in the shell than you would if you go to the those that are peeled, and then those that are crushed is even less, and those the more processing you do to the nut, the less nutrients, and the closer to their original state, the more nutrients. That's easy to remember, huh? Okay, let me see, let me go ahead. All right, now this is good. You know, there's not a lot of people up on Sunday. This is about a couple of minutes to 8 here, a couple of minutes to 11. People probably getting ready to go to bed and all that. But I suggest that you just let this run so you can hear it. And this will help you, especially when it comes to those of you that are suffering from pain and you want to exercise, but you can't. It's just too painful for you to do it. The next one is honey. Honey is fantastic for a wide range of reasons and is high on a whole ton of different lists. Yeah, well, you know, I'm reading, that's not my words, but I would just say those of you that are suffering from, for instance, allergies, if you're suffering from like any throat issues from talking a lot, or, you know, those people that may have made decoctions like cough syrup and all that, honey is used for a base. It also contains traces of pollen. So some people are allergic to it. So make sure that you are not allergic to certain pollens like bee pollen, because you can get allergic reaction from that, and we don't want that. But it's a great substitute for sugar. It's a great substitute for maple syrup and jelly and other sweeteners. So, and it's actually is delicious. Other people have different views about honey, but for now we're using that view. Okay, next is celery. Now, celery again is great with trace minerals. You will see all of the things that these things have, these foods have in common. Usually when a fruit or vegetable is high in vitamin C, they also have a great amount of trace minerals. But in celery, there's one thing that stands out in celery, and that is the beta carotene. Now, beta carotene is the substance that's turned into, or the pigment that's turned into vitamin A. And vitamin A works well with vitamin C. Now, manganese and other trace minerals are also in celery. And celery is a great source of phytonutrients, which are very important and can do a host of good things for the body. So that's why a few years ago we ran out of celery here on the West Coast, and it went way up, very expensive to purchase. I'm glad they made that correction, because it was very difficult to do without celery, especially for those of us that like to have our fresh squeezed juice. If you're not doing your fresh squeezing, I suggest that you get on that too. This really helps the body, regulates the bowel movement, keeps you really light, not just because you had a bowel movement, but it also helps you to prohibit the collection or storage of lipids or excess lipids. And that is simply the fats that you find right under when you find under your skin. So this is the epidermis, the dermis, and the sebaceous gland. The yellow lipids, or those big fat cells, those are lipids, and that's what we have when we eat fat or sugar in excess. Now, some people can get the concepts of this, but I'll just say this: just continue to listen and continue to read. And as you continue to read and listen, you'll find that you understand it more. One of the best, and I call this the neutralizer, and this is also the equalizer, and that's water. Now, water is super important. Water is one of the most important ways that you can avoid inflammation, and it's simply to just remain hydrated. This is something that many of us just simply have a difficulty doing, because we get busy and we forget to have our water. Usually, I have some water right here. I've been drinking just before I came to make this video. So, but I will have some later, just a little bit. When you get ready to go to bed, you don't need to waterlog yourself, because you'll be all up through the night emptying your bladder. Okay, we're almost there, and it is at the fine hour of 8 now, but I'm going to finish this list if you want to go on with me. Bok choy is another. Now, this tastes great. You should not cook bok choy. Those people that take bok choy and cook it, man, you killing it. So bok choy is something that is alive. Now, some people have like bok choy leaves. Maybe after you finish with your carrots, or if you're making an onion soup or something of that, you chop them up, but you don't boil them and fry them and those kinds of things. All right, this has got to go. All right. Okay, so we got it for bok choy. A lot of people just use this with strips of meat. Those people that eat meat and fish and all that, but you can actually make different strips out of some of the soy, or you have other things like seitan. You have other means like I was thinking, what else is that? That different nut butters and so forth that they use to make certain makes them taste like meat products. And a lot of people would like to eat the things that remind them of a burger or a piece of fish and all that. But remember, the more refined it is, the more difficulty it's going to cause. And then that is what's going to cause the dysfunction in your epithelial tissue. So this is very important. I just did a whole video on epithelial dysfunction. So check that out. and that'll help you to understand why you should eat fresh foods. Now, carrots are another one. Make sure you add carrots, and this is just really wonderful. This is great to eat carrots because carrots are a great source of a range of useful nutrients there. Also, very easy to pick up and to grab, and just, they're ready to go. You just wash those bad boys out and voila. But at the same time, the carrots might also be a perfect snack to ward off inflammation. That's the important thing. Now, this is because they contain an important nutrient called lutein. Now, some people say lutein, but Lutein, or they all say lutein. But nevertheless, you will hear it and you're like, oh, that sounds like lutein. So the lutein has exciting benefits, more of which we are learning all the time. It's like fairly new, but we know that it is definitely very efficient at fighting free radicals. And that means that we'll have fewer free radicals, and that means you can slow down inflammation, and also you can slow down the aging process. All right, we're almost there. Good. Let me see if there are any questions so far. Rochelle DC. Hey, how you doing this evening, Rochelle? Thank you again for sharing your knowledge. Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Please share. If you have other people, share. Let's send out share or tag those people, because this is great information. It's like Rochelle said, and it can help a lot of people. Back to the epithelial dysfunction. That just means that the epithelial will break down in your vascular system. That is the membrane that protects. It's the lining that protects the heart, and it also protects the lumen, which is inside of our vascular system. And when that is damaged, then that means that it increases the chance of chronic atherosclerosis. Some of these words I'm going to say that you're not familiar with, but you will as you continue to follow me. Please like us. I like you. And check us out on, you can look at my bio and check on the link there, and you can set up a strategy consultation so that you can find out what's the next move should you make. And after you do that, you'll find that you are now moving purposefully, and you can get rid of a lot of that inflammation. If you only understand that, and this is just my belief, and I apologize for it being subjective. However, I think that for every ill that we have, there's an answer in nature. You see, I think all of these grapes, white grapes, red grapes, purple grapes, blue grapes, oh man, it's just such an array. We got figs, and we have dates, and we have potatoes, tomatoes, arugula, on and on and on, kale, all of these things that we can eat. And this is all medicine. Things that we can eat to help reduce inflammation. And inflammation, the more inflammation that we have, the more susceptible we are to disease. Now, red grapes are really, really good. Again, it has a great source of vitamin C. It is also filled with stilbene resveratrol. And stilbene resveratrol is the same thing that we find in red wine also, that prohibits the plaque or the sticking of cholesterol or plaque in our lumen or the vascular system, therefore reducing the chances of thrombosis, stroke, reducing the chances of heart disease, like for instance, cardiovascular disease, myocardial infarctions. All of that happens when you don't take care of your body, these are some of the foods that will help you with that. So still being resveratrol, which can help to massively improve the mitochondrial functioning and even extend the lifespan. So, I'm a little, when they say, when people write extend the lifespan, I think that the best way that I can accept that is knowing that you have a better chance of living longer when you're eating healthy food than you do when you're just throwing junk in your body. Okay. Although I remember when I was growing up, I thought that these guys were alcoholics, or we call them drunks. And when I would see a drunk and they would look old, and I would wonder, how did they live that old if they're drinking all that whiskey? But as I grew into a man, I realized that these were guys that weren't that old, and they died because they were abusing their bodies. The next is 13, and we're almost there. Raisins. Now, raisins are super high in antioxidants also, and they're perfect for fiber. This is really wonderful. Now, that also includes bacteria found in your mouth, which could be contributing to the bacteria. So it gets rid of the antioxidants, that is, helps to get rid of that bad bacteria. Okay. We only have about 7 more to go. Ginger. Ginger is also called the master root. Those of you that are from the different islands like Belize, like Jamaica, Trinidad, St. Thomas, all of those islands, you will find that ginger is a very popular celebrity there. And ginger is delicious in tea infusions. It's a delicious herb that you can slice and drop them into a batch of beans, or you can also use ginger as a drink. And this drink will help you to relax. It is one of the world's greatest antispasmodics, and that means that it helps your muscles to relax and keep you from cramping. Even if you're in shape, this helps you to relax a little more. Ginger is good also if you're traveling. I don't have my water here, so let me see. I might have to get up and get a little water. So anyway, I am going to go on to the next thing. Let me see here. Ginger is common and popular choice for anyone looking to improve a range of health issues and taste better than you might even expect it to, especially in tea. So ginger, get some ginger. You should always have ginger. Get the real thing, and it's great when you have, your stomach is feeling like people have sour stomach. The people that walk around with a case of sugar foot. That's that's really important. I'm just playing, but it is important to have that kind of stuff, in place for you when you need to. Okay, I found my water here, and I am glad. So give me a second here so I can get a swallow, and let's take a water break. Thank you. Oh, that's good. Okay, now, see there? That's how water should be used also on your table. You shouldn't be eating and drinking, because it interrupts with proper digestion, and it also forces the food down, and it advances the food in peristalsis instead of allowing the food to be conveyed down slowly. It actually will rush the food down, and that can interrupt with the absorbency of absorbing the nutrients from the food. So be aware of that. Garlic now is amazing for your health in a vast number of ways. I mean, this is one of the things that I like because it's antimicrobial. Antimicrobial is antibacterial also. It is an antioxidant also. So, this is also, did I already say antioxidant? Yeah, I think I did. But this is really, really good. And when you eat garlic, you can also reduce the inflammation. And when you reduce the inflammation, hey, you've been successful. That's what you want to. That's what we want to do, and that's what we're talking about: reducing the inflammation. Green tea is next. If you haven't had green tea, you should use or you should consume green tea. It is delicious. It has catechins in it. Catechins are very, very important. They're a part of a list of phytochemicals that are found in green tea. Green tea is excellent for people that like to run lean, as I do. It is and light. You can also use it to help to keep yourself calm, and that is certainly a different, very important thing. Oh, by the way, when we talk about calm, I want to thank the Gentle family, especially Mrs. Gentle, for sending me a T-shirt that told me to keep calm and drink. It was actually a shirt from Vegas. I love it. I had it on earlier, but I went out in the yard and started watering plants and cutting grass, and then I was soaked. I just did it, spontaneously. And that was real cool. But then I wet up my shirt, so I didn't want to get, any kind of sneezing and coughing and all that. So I had to get out of that real fast. So the antioxidant effects that you get from green tea, definitely drink green tea, because that helps in reducing inflammation, especially, are you ready for this? Especially in the brain. It helps with the inflammation in the brain. This is really important because EFAs are known more for reducing the inflammation in the brain, but green tea is high in theanine, or L-theanine, and L-theanine, along with other xanthines, help you to relax, ease the body, and give you that benefit of anti-inflammatory properties for your brain. Good stuff, huh? Okay, I'm just using this as a tart cherries. Now, tart cherries, you can buy this at Trader Joe's, and you have, melanin and melatonin are two wonderful things to have going on in your body at the same time. But melatonin is making them a great option. Is the cherries. Not only are cherries high in the melatonin, but they're making them great option for helping you get off to sleep. So that's really important. Now, usually I wouldn't say take these cherries when you are going to bed, because they also have a reasonable amount of fructose. But if you drink a small amount, if you drink too much, you'll find yourself up because of the sweet effect of the tart cherries. So the melatonin will help you get off to sleep, but they are also known for fighting osteoarthritis and reducing inflammation. So pick up this. Tart cherries are not cheap. It costs about $5 a bottle for tart cherries, but they're really wonderful. Cordyceps mushrooms. The cordyceps mushrooms are just excellent. If you haven't been taking mushrooms, this one is a little different, but in turn, it turns out that the cordyceps mushroom might just be a fantastic option for combating inflammation. You'll most likely find that this one is in supplement form, and you see a lot of people that are taking cordyceps, and it is known to work very good and to reduce the stress that actually triggers the inflammation. Number 19, two to go, everybody. Apples. An apple a day makes the doctor want to stay, because I love to eat apples. They're really delicious, and it helps to combat stress. Now, these are very popular because most people just talk about the vitamin C, but these apples are just germane to having the right amount of fiber during your days. Now, children don't need as much fiber. Children need about maybe 25 to 30 grams of fiber, but we as adults, we need anywhere, women need about 40, and men need about 50 grams of fiber every day to keep our stool nice and soft, and also keeping our body moving. We want our digestive system to keep moving. So the apples are also a great place to get these fibers that can help us. The fiber, by the way, are those foods that are digested partially or not at all. So fiber is very important, and they also contain a very powerful epicatechin. Now, epicatechin, anybody remember epicatechins? I mean, it was a time that was trending, and epicatechins are very, very um, strategic in helping to promote uh, the survival of diabetic mice. That's the last kind of research, but apocatechins are very important for those people that are pre-diabetic, and those people who are pre-diabetic is just borderline diabetic. But read more about your apocatechins. I'll go into that later because I want to give the light to anti-inflammatories. And we go on to the last one here, and this is one of the greatest anti-inflammatory foods. And I just had some today. I was drinking it all yesterday. Fresh squeeze is the best. You just got to make sure you prepare the area or everything will be red. It is absolutely wonderful. Beets are an excellent a way to get these antioxidants in you. It's a substance in here, and it's called betalain. And betalain is a really wonderful. You hardly ever hear of betalain. Uh, Not only is it an antioxidant, it's one of the most incredible, effective antioxidants that can improve the oxygen, the brain uptake. So the brain will have, just like bananas, for instance, or when you're working out and you have more energy because more oxygen is getting to your blood. Well, this is how the betalain works. It helps you to bring more oxygen to attract more oxygen to your blood, and that is excellent if you are even if you're not an athlete. That is so important. And the other thing, if you're not an athlete, it just, you can tell that it makes a difference because you last longer and you perform better than ever because you're getting more oxygen to your brain. Wow, that's a lot of good stuff, everybody. Um, Remember, go through this. I'm going to read more. Let me hear which one is better, the can or raw. Oh yeah, the raw. Remember everything. That the question was, which one is better, canned or raw pineapple? Now it depends on where you live and how often you can get pineapple, because sometimes they're not. You don't get them as fast because, as for most fruit, you'll have seasons. But pineapples, you almost, I think now you can get them year round. I buy pineapples all the time. It's really, really a wonderful thing to have pineapples. But if you cannot get them raw is the best. But if you cannot get them, the cans that they make today are relatively very safe. I don't like things in cans, but they removed the cans. They used to actually have lead in cans, and that was ugh. So yeah, that's poison. That's what that is. So make sure that you're in a lead-free can. They don't even mention it anymore because it's against the law to use, just like it's against the law to use lead in paint. The same thing when it comes to lead in cans. So that's the answer there, Rochelle. Belize says the wonderful Carolyn Gento. Carolyn Gento is remarkable. This lady, she was on one of our shows today, and she's an entrepreneur. She's doing things. She's also a director. She directed. She's one of the directors for and producers for the Balling, the Secrets to Balling, and you should look at that. That film is still on sale, and I think you may even be able to get it online. Look it up. Yeah, I'm wishing a lot of love to Carolyn Gento because she is a young sister that's coming up, making some really, really great moves. And I met her son, which is really, really incredible. What a great job. You talking about this young man is, I think he's 22 now, 22 or 23, and he carries himself as a gentleman. You're so happy to be in his presence because he's so kind and he pays attention, always smiling, just like his mother. And that's a really beautiful thing. Yes, I love ginger, says Carolyn Gentle says she loves ginger. All right, that's right. It's a delicious, delicious. I put it in my salads. I put it in my hot dishes, like, bean dishes. I even mix it up with some of my rice dishes. Man, we're eating good when it comes to the vegetable and the fruit kingdom because there's so many varieties. So many varieties. Let's go to, thank you so much. You're more than welcome. I always appreciate it. Great, great information. Thank you so much. I see a lot of really wonderful, warm sentiments, and I really appreciate it. Well, everybody, if you want to get more information, please go on to executivelifediet.com and give me a note to send me a letter. Let me know, get registered on there, become a member there. You also can set up an appointment for your strategic consultation, and you can have an appointment with me as soon as I can get an availability, which is we move on that pretty fast. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be happy and love every moment that you have. Remember that there isn't a spot that your creator is not, and everything that is happening to you is happening for you. I'm Dr. Fareed Zarif. Remember to like us, to also subscribe on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Executive Life Diet. Our Twitter is _executive life _. And our Instagram is _executive life diet _. So please check us out there and become members. We need all of your help there. We love that you're listening and that you're actually getting involved with getting your health better and putting up with my sometimes I just actually come right on because I feel like coming on. I turn the lights on. I'm like, come on, let's get it on. And sometimes I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about, but I know what I'm up against. I know that if I took my shirt off and smoked a blunt, that I couldn't even turn you away. Or if I was a beautiful, I was looking at I was being very frustrated about, getting people to pay attention and people to sign on and people to view and so you can show that you viewed it and that you liked it and subscribed. And it was a woman that was on, that I went on live while I was on the air. I went live on hers and I just watched what she was doing. Now, this woman had something like 10,000. She had like 10,000 views, and people were there looking at her, right? And I'm like, what is she doing? I want to hear what was she doing, you know? And what I found out that she was doing is nothing. She wasn't doing anything, you know? And that to me was really funny because all she was saying is, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is my first time. But he. I wonder what else should I do here? I don't know what to do. Oh, wow, somebody else is saying hello. I want to get your number. Uh, let me get your digits. What does that mean? I don't know what to do. She was just an attractive girl, and you know, she was throwing her hair and everything. And I'm like, I want to save lives. And here I am wanting to save lives, and Miss Cutie Pie is just throwing her hair about and everything and just telling people, now what do you do with this little thing right here? Do you press this? Maybe they'll press this, you know, and there's 10,000, 11,000 views. I'm like, wow, where are the priorities of you, my friends? Okay, everybody have a great one. Oh, I got another. Carolyn Gento says, education is not their top priority. Very well said. Very well said. Everybody have a great night's rest. It's 8:30 here in PST, and I know it's 11:30 there in EST. And in Mountain Time, the MST is about 9:30, right? Something like that. So everybody have a beautiful evening. And we're going to do this tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, God willing, as they say. So we want to make sure that you stick with it. It's not going to be easy, but you're going to love the results. Have a good evening.